The following is an exclusive production of Minuteman Command. The Flagship Pod with your hosts, ESPN personalities Mike Corey and Rene Ingoglia, is on the air. Brought to you by Todd Fritz Roofing, with insight and info from UMass and MAC insiders. From the Command Studios, here are your hosts, Mike and Rene.
All right, it's the last week of May, Rene. Here we go. We're getting into June. The countdown is on.
It's summer. Can you believe it? It's summer, although it's been summer in Orlando forever because it's so freaking hot, but it's officially summer. How's the weather up there in the Philly area?
Yeah, we're getting it was a cold streak for Memorial Day weekend. You know, it's never really like an unbelievable weather weekend like everybody thinks. Oh, it's Memorial Day weekend, like you go down the beach. It's like the 60s right now, actually, to be honest with you. Like it's a little colder down there. So we've been overcast. You've had a little bit of rain. We had maybe mid 70s yesterday. It's overcast for the next 3 or 4 days here this week, like 70. When do you get 90-degree temperatures starting in Orlando?
May. So basically it started earlier, but we'll go like from a couple weeks ago, like mid-May through probably September. We'll get straight 90 plus every day. It's actually ridiculous. Your air conditioning never stops. Your power bill is ridiculous, but it's okay. First world problems. I can.
It's like I want to come down and play golf, but I really don't because it's too freaking hot.
I golfed Saturday at Shingle Creek, which is a resort here in Orlando. One of my buddies retired from the Orlando Police Department, and it's the worst I think I've ever played, Mike.
Wow.
So I did what every golfer does. I switched my clubs out because, it can't be me. It's the club, number one. Right. Although I know it's me. It's the person. It's not the instrument. Right. But I did switch my clubs out and spent 2 hours on YouTube last night watching golf swings. Really? It's just it's so frustrating. Golf is –
You bought new clubs? You bought new ones?
No. So I'm a golf nut. You kind of know this.
You have a whole stack.
I have 4 sets in my garage, and I'm like, all right, you're done bringing this new one in. I'm trying a whole. All right, quickly. I'm a Bryson DeChambeau fan, big time. Yeah. A lot of people are. It's not, but I liked Bryson before. When people hated Bryson, I just like the guy. I like the way he thinks. So I have a set of 1-length golf clubs. So all his clubs are the length of a 6-iron. I don't know if you know that or not. But
no, I didn't know that.
They are. So I have a set of 1-lengths, and it's a 1-plane swing. I'm going back to that, and because it can't be any. I played. Long story short, I played horrible. But other than that, cooked out yesterday. Played pickleball. I went for pickleball court at my house. I built my wife a pickleball court for her birthday a couple years ago.
Yeah,
or Christmas, one of those two. So my 20-year-old goes, Dad, I'm going to kick your ass. Nah, didn't happen. She left. Typical. She left all pissed off, going to a friend's house. I said, you come for the king, you better not miss, baby.
That's great. I need new clubs, so I got to go out and get. But I want to get custom made clubs. But you're saying that obviously the driver is going to be a little longer than the irons, right?
Here's the thing, and I am a golf nut. I actually spend a lot of time invested in golf, even though I stink. The one thing advice I would give you and anyone listening to this, one, you have to play enough where your swing is your swing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have and I'm not saying a great swing, but your swing, whatever your swing is, that you repeat it, okay? It has to be ingrained enough so when you go get fitted, the fitter knows, okay, this is his swing, and they can do your lie, your length, your lie, your hole, your loft, everything.
Yeah, but you got to have the right swing. It's almost like, look, nobody's perfect, but it's like that saying.
You have the right swing for you. We all have different swings. Listen, I tinker a ton, but I shoot in the 80s. It's not like I'm not trying to get on. I'm not trying to get on tour. I'm just trying to get consistently better.
No, that's fine. I mean, but you know what? It's just like everything else, right? Like you're in the 80s, and then you're like, well, I want to be in the 70s. Like I'm in the 90s. I would love just to be in the 80s, right?
That's the thing with golf. If you don't, and it's an expensive sport. That's the other thing too. If you don't play. So when I first retired from the police department, I was like, this is going to be awesome. I joined a golf course. I had a membership. And you probably remember this. For first 6 months that I retired in 2020, I golfed, like I literally golfed every day, because that's the other thing too. When you join a membership, if you're not golfing, you feel like you're getting beat. But the more you golf, you feel like, oh, I'm beating them, right? So I golfed like every day for 6 months. I mean, it's literally a mile from my house. So I got pretty good, because it's just, you're just playing, right? It's all you're doing is playing. I didn't go to the range. I just went and played. And but if you don't do that, golf is a hard. If you golf once a week,
no, you're screwed.
Most people don't even do that, you know.
I was a better golfer in high school because I worked at the pro shop in Brattleboro, Vermont, where I grew up, in between every year of college. So it was like, I think it was like after I graduated, I worked that summer, and then every summer in between, you know, all the way up through UMass until I graduated. And I played every night. Like my buddy Matt would come up. I would finish up at like 6 o'clock. We played till like it gets dark, 8:30, like every single night. And I was pretty good. Like I actually did pretty well. Yeah.
At that age, your brain isn't in the way. You're not thinking about crap. Right. You're just swinging the club. Right. You get like us, Ham and Eggers, all of us out there, the 90% of golf, or probably 99%, you're thinking, is my foot right? Is my wrist right? You think a million, and that's what I did Saturday. It was so unenjoyable for me Saturday, because anyone that golfs knows this. Once you start thinking about stuff, paralysis by analysis times 100 in golf. Yeah. Forget about it. So.
And it's not the equipment, like you said. I was in the pro shop. It was like, remember when the Great Big Bertha came out? You know, no, it was just the Big Bertha. It was the Big Bertha. Like, this is a Big Bertha. Like, it was huge, right? That thing now.
Believe me, I play. It's not the club. It's the player. So now, once you get
the biggest Big Bertha.
Once you get good enough, where like again your swings repeating, yes, get fitted, make sure. Because then, you can enhance the game. But by and large, listen, I can take you to any course in America right now, and there's probably an 80-year-old guy that's playing persimmon woods from like the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
That hits it 150 yards straight every single time down the middle and shoots 85, shoots his age.
Right.
Okay, so
you don't have to hit it 300. More on Rene and Mike's golf.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I do want to say this. I know you saw. So I'm 53 now, so I'm like a kid. I'm like a kid in a candy store. So I didn't realize I was paying for AI technology. But of course, I have 2 kids in college, so I've been paying for like Chat GPT, the app. So my daughter's like, "Dad, you should have this app on your phone. You pay for it." So I put it on my phone, and now I've been playing with it. That's where I came up with the
babies.
The babies.
Yeah.
Baby Mike,
funny.
Baby Rene. So I need
cool.
to say this because I got contacted by a bunch of people. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't care. If you zoom in on your picture, okay, so AI, I'm assuming it's a copyright issue. Okay. So whatever you're wearing,
right?
AI doesn't put that, it takes a letter out. It changes it.
Oh, yeah. No, I got you.
So Baby Mike, it took the M out. It says UMass. Oh, so
right.
That's not a political statement. There's nothing. That's just AI being AI. I thought your Baby Mike looks just like you. I thought it was like you.
All right. Then I'll grab a real baby picture of me, and we'll compare it the next time.
Yeah, right? And so just so if people don't know what we're talking about, it's on social media. Basically, I took a real picture like this, a still of this, put it into ChatGPT, and said, "Hey, make us into babies." And it within 30 seconds, it does it, dude. It's awesome. But it said "you ass," so some people are like, "Oh, Mike's shirt said you ass." It's like basically that's Baby Mike calling Baby Rene an ass. That's all that is. Okay.
That was like when we used to be there. We'd have the hats, and then you'd get rid of the whatever it was. Remember the you?
It's no big deal. It's no big deal, guys. So, but I don't. So I do pay for the AI. There's like an advanced premium version that I don't pay for. Okay,
this is crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So the advanced premium version, I would be able to put this in. And the babies could actually do the podcast. That's what you're seeing if you're on Instagram a bunch. Like Theo Vaughn does it like for all his podcasts.
That is so funny.
I'm just mesmerized. I think it's hilarious watching babies talk.
Yeah,
so maybe I don't get cheap. If we get some sponsors here, maybe we'll put some video clips out with Baby.
That better not take over all of our jobs at AI. I mean, it's crazy.
It's coming, dude. Pretty.
That sucks. I don't like it.
How about I've been watching a lot of. How about umpires, right? Now everything they watch the strike zone. I would hate to be an umpire now.
No, honestly, if you wanted to get rid of the home plate umpire, you could. You just could. I mean, you already see you've had the box forever.
Sure it's coming.
Look out, strike. Oh, it's not in the box, ball. I mean, it's not that hard. Whatever. Well, we had this article that you talked about from
Yep.
last week, right? That came out. Matt Baker. What were some of the topics? Because I know you were pretty hot on some of the things that were said.
It's a long article, but I thought it was good, and I just kind of want to go through it. I made some notes, and I want to get your opinion. Yeah. We'll kind of go back and forth, and first I got to say, Matt Baker. So I spoke to Matt. Matt Baker talked to over 20 people to do this article. Okay, I spoke to him for probably 2 hours on the phone. We talked about all of college football. So Matt Baker writes for The Athletic. Okay. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a dog in the fight. He's not a UMass fan. He lives in Tampa. He just is a national writer. First, I think that's an awesome thing that he said, "Yeah, let me do an article on UMass because they're a flagship university." And this goes to my point that I've made a million times. UMass is a national brand. Okay, yeah, we've stunk at football the last 13 years since the transition. We know that. Okay, we know that. But we are a national brand. Okay, for him to write an article, New York Times owns The Athletic, put it in the New York Times. To me, that's a good thing, right? And so we'll go through the article. It says, "Can UMass sell hope? Why college football's losing its program believes it can win." And it's losing its program since the transition to FBS, okay, in 2012. So if you haven't read it, it's in the New York Times, Athletic. You can get it. It is a paywall, so you got to play around with it. You'll be able to find it. First thing, he went up to the spring game where we kicked off this this podcast. He said there was 228 fans in the bleachers. I don't know where they got that number. It looked like there was a lot more people around than me. Maybe in the bleachers, but around the outside and then the tents where we had lunch and stuff. Yeah, it was great. It was a good weekend. He talks about it, and we'll talk about it again. So for people that may not know this, since the transition in 2012 from FCS to FBS, okay, UMass is the losingest program in the country with a record of 26-122, a 176 winning percentage in 13 seasons. Basically a victory, a little over a victory a year. It's not acceptable. We know that. It's not acceptable. There has been a lot of, and we'll get into it, screw ups in the way. And our going through this article, it's not that I want to look back, although we are going to look back, but it's looking back to look forward because we're shut. After we go through this article today, we're shutting the page and it's all forward. And me and you have been pretty forward thinking already. And then, he goes in, he talks about the YouTuber with the 3 million views where the whole junkyard came and all that. And listen,
yeah.
The kids, we're not going to rehash the stadium debate. It's not even a debate. We all know we need it.
By the way, that was a chat GPT too or whatever, because remember it changed the letter. It didn't have Massachusetts. It was like spelled incorrectly or whatever. Remember that? Remember the pictures that he had from the junkyard? Yeah.
So listen, the kid did what he did. He's not wrong. The stadium needs to get fixed. We all know that. It's okay. We're not even going to get into that.
Right.
Here's where we'll look back to look forward. Okay. So catch me here. Here's the issue. Okay. Since the transition in 2012, hired Joe Harris-Simiak this year, Mike. Off the top of your head, without looking and thinking, do you know how many head coaches UMass, what Joe Harris-Simiak is since the transition?
6.
5. He's the 5th coach.
Yeah, I thought
close.
Yeah,
but I mean, think about it. 5 head coaches since the transition. 13 years.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's atrocious. You cannot do that. Yeah. It's a lack of stability and a lack of culture. You just can't do it, right? And listen, Ryan Bamford knows that. Do you think Ryan Bamford wants, and everyone's like, I'm not an apologist for Ryan Bamford, okay? And I know a lot of people don't like Ryan and he should be, I'm not here to say who should be what, this, that, and the other. What I'm here to say is there's issues. And by the way, Ryan wasn't here in the beginning. Ryan wasn't here in the transition. Ryan didn't hire two of those coaches, I think.
No, it's correct.
So, it's not all on Ryan. Everyone wants to pound on him. But yeah, you just cannot, if you hire the wrong coaches, and again, this isn't a personal attack on those coaches. I know a lot of them personally. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's just unfortunately, and I will say this too, a lot of them were set up for failure. We've talked about this.
Well, the
transition wasn't done correctly, money-wise, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I know. I just want to back up Ryan again because it's like when we were at the spring game too, and it's like I like having these conversations with him. He's great. We'll talk to him. We'll call him. We'll text him, and I want to learn. I want to understand what goes into this. Like anybody can just sit back and be like, "What the hell? This is ridiculous." It's almost like watching your favorite sports team and be like, "What's your problem?" It's like, "Hello, they've been working on this for 40 hours a week." You know, like with football, like you just show up in the stands and you're bitching for 3 hours, like. Ryan just went over with me, like in terms of like on the game day experience, like what has to happen sometimes to either bring some certain things in or your changes you want to make. It's like, okay, it's the town, it's the legislature, it's the UMass, it's the community, it's the president, the AD, the athletic department, the money. Like there was like 12 things that was like, it's not that easy. So when you just sit back and be like, why the hell are we doing this? It's like, you can't just blame him. You can't say like, oh, he's not doing it. It's hard. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of steps. We're going to talk to him. We'll get him on one of our podcasts for sure. We'll talk to Ryan because there's going to be some things we want to go over. And then he could tell you, hey, man, this is what has to happen. Like, so just, I'm not trying to sit here and just say, everybody's like, oh, you're defending. I am because it's not that easy. So, yeah, things are mismanaged, whatever. Hey, maybe they only had $600,000 in the pool, right, for the coaches. And what are you going to get with that? Nothing or whatever, right? Remember, it's like, got to have money, got to have support. There's a lot of factors here. You know what I mean?
It's politics run amok. Even it's a state school, right? Flagship school.
That's
There's a lot of red tape for everything, including events and things you want to do game day.
Right.
And, beer and this and that. Oh, we can't sell this. I mean, there's a bunch of, all we're saying is there's a bunch of crap that goes into it, folks. That's all. That's all we're saying. Okay. And you got to, it's very easy to get on social media and just bitch. I do it, right? We all do it, or bitch to your friend or just whatever. I get it. All we're saying is, and I'm not saying not to bitch. What I'm saying is take a step back and just consider there's more. It's more than black and white is what we're trying to say.
Right, exactly.
So let's get back to that transition. So I was asked a question. Me and Marty Jacobson talked about this. Of course, Marty Jacobson, super donor. And then Matt Baker asked me this about, because I played in the early 90s. So I was at UMass in the heyday of UMass basketball. The Final Four runs, number one in the nation. I mean, I was there. We've talked about this. He asked about, if the move to transition to big-time football should have happened then. And so back in school, when I was there was always talk about it. But I didn't listen. I didn't even put too much into it. It's like, I just want to play football. It doesn't matter. I'm going to UMass and having a good time, getting my degree. Never really thought about it, but I knew there was talk about like a commission that was kind of studying it. And Matt, in this article, he pulls that all out. He goes to the archives in the library and pulls it all out.
Okay.
And the one thing he goes, this really struck me. He goes, I found this in there was a task force, that looked in 1996, they completed their study. So they were doing their study while I was playing. And there was a quote in there, and he goes, man, this quote really hit home. And it said, in the task force for UMass to go from FCS, which was 1AA back then, to FBS football, which was 1A back then. If a decision is made to implement the move to 1A, the move will most likely meet failure without full support of all parts of the university, including academic, student, administrative, and staff. No statement has ever been said truer than that one.
No, I know. I agree.
So what happens, this is 96. They transition in 12. So what's that, 16 years later? That statement still holds true. But guess what? They did a transition. That statement didn't happen. They didn't have support from all those entities.
No, they didn't.
Not even close.
Exactly.
And guess what? We'll get into it a little bit here because I got some notes. They still don't get full support from all those entities. Academic, student, administrative, and staff. Not even close. And that's an issue. That's an issue.
That is the number one issue. Exactly right. We don't even tell me about the stadium again. That's exactly what it is. What's just to your point about UMass basketball? Why do you think Calipari was able to do what he did back then? Not that he's not a great coach. He is phenomenal. He had everybody on board, and they were bottom of the friggin' barrel. Like I'm telling you, we're doing the documentary on it. You'll watch the whole thing. It's like he had the staff, he had the administration, he had the UMass support, he had the whole state. He was going to Boston, he was recruiting everywhere, he was delivering pizzas to the students, like out in the back door of the cage. And I mean, you had to get everybody all on board, and he would make friends and get to know the professors and work with the administration. He says it in the interviews. We've interviewed him like 3 times. He talks about all the people and he thanked that were on board with this, from the administration, the top down, the whole state. And it took some time, but not long. It only took like 3 years.
This goes back to comments that we made in past podcasts. What was, I would argue, what's the biggest catalyst of all that brought all those people together? Winning.
Yeah. He
won. Everyone loves a winner. Like, everyone's going to come. You win, everyone's going to come out of the woodwork. I was there the whole time. Cal, what do you mean? When you got here, Cal, in the late 80s and you were still stinking, I was your guy. Bullshit. Everyone jumped on the bandwagon once they started winning. I mean, I'm not just banging on UMass fans. That's nature. That's just us. That's everybody.
Understandable, but again, you need help. Like, I'm just saying, if you didn't have any of that support and none of that was happening,
there's no doubt. But Mike,
they would just start winning.
He didn't get all that support his first year there.
No, it took a little while. But
my point is, once he started, they were like, "Oh, this guy's the real deal. He's got some players in there." Once that started rolling, the point is, and we talked about this, winning helps. That's all.
Yeah, and this is great. It's in Marty Dobrow's book that Marty's been helping us with this whole project too. Is that there's a time in like his first season where the fans are yelling and booing and being like, "You suck" or whatever, and like Cal literally turns around and into the stand says like, "Hey, cheer for us," what I mean? Cheer for us, and it's like it's just a powerful statement where it's like, no, stop bitching, stop being whatever, be on our side. And he got them to be on their side. That's exactly what has to happen with UMass football. Like you said, kind of moving forward here. Yeah. I know we are a little bit on this now here, but enough bitching. It's like cheer for them, show up, support them. Like, and we're not getting it as evident from some of the comments, even in this article or on social media after it came out. Actually,
we'll get to that at the end. And so, again, I hate looking back. We're looking back because the article. We're going through the article. I got some notes. We're gonna get a little quick here. Yes, the move was half-assed. Okay, because he talks about other schools that made the transition, did it right. JMU, right. Old Dominion, Liberty, Georgia Southern. He doesn't talk about Old Dominion, but I've seen what they've done. So we know it's half-assed. The money was half-assed. Okay, we got to move forward. I will say this, and we've talked about this. The commitment's there now.
Yeah.
Especially for a team that's in the first year back in the MAC. The commitment 100% is there. The money's there. The school's in a good place. So, I'm excited about it. There was a line in this in this article that I wanted to read so people understand too, because a lot of people always talk about, just drop back to FCS, right? We've had this conversation, right? People don't understand how expensive it is to have a college football team for everybody, okay? Right. FCS football is super expensive. And there's a line, and it says right here, he's talking to Ryan Bamford, says, shutting down the program was never an option, Bamford said, regardless of how many times outsiders asked him about it. So there were people in his ear, okay? Neither was dropping back to FCS.
Right.
In addition to damaging the UMass brand, which it would, if you drop back, it's going to damage, right? There's no doubt. It would have hurt the institution's bottom line, okay? The school's contribution to football is $2.5 million less in the FBS. So they pay $2.5 million. Their contribution, okay, and their contribution is going to probably be even less playing in the MAC because they're going to make more money. But their contribution to football at the FBS level is $2.5 million less than what they paid when they played in the FCS. How expensive FCS football? Because there's no income streams in the FCS. There just isn't. So people have to understand that. So to say, just drop back, it's easier, it's better. No, it's actually more expensive. You don't get all the the great things that come with FBS football.
Yeah, the revenue, the TV stuff. Yeah, there's a lot more for sure.
I missed this the first time I read the article. I don't know. I must have had a brain fart. So Josh Mauer's in here. I love Josh. Yeah. I started my broadcast career with Josh. Josh was play-by-play when I did radio, UMass Sports Network for UMass Radio in 2009. Josh was the voice, play-by-play. So Josh is quoted here saying, you know, I'm paraphrasing Josh, basically says, hey, UMass has to be careful because, you know, the notoriety UMass got with the basketball team in the Final Four run is phenomenal. And, you know, his take is you're just not going to get that in the MAC. All right. Let me dissect this a little bit. I get it. They're kind of different. Okay. You're going to get good publicity in the MAC. We know that. We do MAC games. It's got an ESPN TV contract. Every single week, if the game's on a national TV, it'll be on Plus. You're gonna get good play. Okay.
Yeah.
I get what Josh says. Okay, about the basketball program. You're doing the documentary. We know about that. But here's the deal, folks. Okay. If UMass was winning the Atlantic 10 every year, and they were a basketball predominantly top 20 team every year, and every couple of years they were making a Sweet 16, and every 4 or 5 years they were making a Final Four. Okay. This move wouldn't have happened. Okay. You got to be realistic. Okay. This move would have never happened. Basketball's in a different place. I understand what Josh is saying. Yeah. I don't even want to call UMass a mid-major, but we'll just use the word mid-major for a second. Yeah. Every mid-major would love to make a run, right? And make it to the Final Four. And yes, you reap the benefits. I get that. But it just wasn't happening the past, I don't know how many years. And guess what? Yeah, is it harder in football for we'll call it a mid-major? Is it harder in football for a group of 5 and a MAC team to make the playoff? Yes. Now there used to be impossible. There is a path, okay? But we've talked about it. There's bowl games, there's exposure. So it's a little different, but to say that MACtion won't help UMass get some national exposure, you know, I think it will. Yeah. I think it's the right move. And again, you know, people that think basketball, and you know, I want you to talk about this. People that think that basketball is going to go right into the MAC and mow it down. I think you got another thing coming because the landscape of college sports, particularly football and basketball, because of the transfer portal, because of revenue share, because of NIL, it's changed.
It's so different. Yeah, no. And here's the thing, like people got to understand, things will change. Things can change. This is a change. Like, just let it go. Like, let's accept it. Let's be behind it, and let's just see what happens. So here's a good example. Okay. How about our friends down the road at UConn, right?
Yeah.
About 5 national championships, 6 or whatever it is now. They keep winning. We don't have any. I mean, UConn, right? They were similar to us, okay? Back in the day, it was like they didn't have any titles. Like, remember, it was UMass, UConn, basketball, whatever. What ended up happening? They went to the American, remember? Yeah. Football and basketball. I mean, here's a basketball program that's won national titles, correct, right? And all of a sudden, they're in the American. What do you think they felt like when they left the Big East? And they're like, we're in the American now. Like, no offense to the American. I'm just saying with the level of that basketball program, they did it because of football, right? Correct. Now what? Basketball broke back, and they're back in the Big East, and they're winning national titles again, and everything's fine. And UConn football, they're dealing with whatever they're doing. Yeah. Okay. Now, same here. We're going there to build up this football program, figure this stuff out, right? Basketball, do what they got to do, right? And then when some things happen and change is made down the road, it'll get changed again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not forever. Like, that's an example right there.
And that's the thing, back to Josh's statement, like, no one knows what tomorrow brings. Right. We talked about this. Like, again, I'm 15 minutes away from UCF's campus, okay? UCF, when they transitioned, they were independent. They've been in the MAC. They've been in Conference USA. They've been in the American, and now they're in the Big 12.
The Big 12. You're right. That's 5 times.
And I'm not saying that's UMass. We don't know. No one knows.
But it's smart. It's smart. Know. It's like, get into a league that has a chance at working, right? That gives you a chance to win games, to get to a bowl, to all of a sudden bring your status up. then you make a move. Nobody's going from this to the SEC.
I will say this about UConn. This is just my opinion. I almost think they were an outlier in that, and you would know better than I. I mean, their basketball really didn't have a drop off, kind of like ours has, right? I mean, I know
it did not. It did not. They weren't. Yeah, they didn't go down to the. I mean, not that.
And to boot, their women's basketball program is arguably
correct,
top 3 all time ever.
Right. Well, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter what league they play in. So
I kind of get them. Their football's now. I'm going to say this, and I've said this before. I don't think Mac would do it. Oh, man, I would love to see UConn come into the MAC as a football-only member. Oh, my gosh. I think it would be a great addition. You're going to have a built-in rivalry with UMass right there. You got Buffalo, so you're helping your expansion in the Northeast a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
I don't even know why they wouldn't and just let our football come in like they did the first time as a football. Like, do you really care about the other sport? I don't mean to be like this.
There's a lot of red tape, a lot of money, a lot of stuff over our head, like we talked about that we don't know. So.
No, exactly right. That's why I don't want to speak too much about it. I have to ask Brian.
You just don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get on here. Everybody has a podcast and.
No, it's fine. I'm with you though. But see, so that just trying to give examples to people to understand like how things could change and where it could be headed down the road. You gave a great one with UCF.
So here's the optimism now. Now Matt Baker gets into his. I love this paragraph here, and I'll almost read it. He said there are early reasons for optimism. Instead of entering the MAC with one of the smallest budgets, the Minutemen will rejoin with a financial advantage. Harris-Simiak will be among the MAC's highest paid coaches. He's going to, over 5 years, he's going to average about $1.4 million. I don't have it in front of me. I think he's going to be the second highest paid coach in the league. I think Jason Candle at Toledo got a new contract, rightfully so, is number one. But here's the big thing. The overall coaching pool salary, which has been atrocious at UMass. All right. And this goes back to other coaches where the head coach is not set up. The overall coaching pool, Ryan Bamford said, will be the highest in the conference by about $500,000. So the UMass assistants, who we interviewed a bunch of them, will be the highest paid assistants in the conference. Okay, so there's no more excuses there. UMass's NIL budget, which is going to go once this house settlement goes through, and I think it's closed. You're still going to have NIL, but revenue share is the main thing now. Okay, revenue share is the main thing, especially for the group of 6 schools.
Sure.
It's $2 million. It'll be $2 million this season, $3 million next season. This is more than 6 times what it was in 2024, and it is expected to be tops in the MAC. Again, I think it's going to be UMass in Toledo in that payout money. Okay,
there you go.
No excuses. We're a top 30 public institution in the nation. We're a very large school. We're the flagship university for the Commonwealth, for the state of Massachusetts. There is absolutely no reason why we can't come into the MAC this year and win. I'm sorry.
Right.
There's just none.
Well, and I'm going to keep saying it because the administration, the athletic department, we're getting there. They're doing their part. Now the fans and the supporters and the people, they got to do their part. You got to show up. You got to come to the games. You got to talk positively about this team. I mean, we're looking forward to game 1, right? I just can't wait to see what happens. We got Temple, see what happens there. Get a synopsis of like what this team could be like. And I think we're hopefully going to be very surprised and excited.
It's 94 days away too. I know you wanted to know that. 94 days, August 30th is when Temple comes to town, 94 days. And I know quickly, a couple things and we'll get out here.
Yeah.
I think the number at this point, as of today, 33 transfer portal players. Joe Harris-Simiak and his staff has brought in a good mixture of players. I love this, okay, because I said this before. Again, the group of 6 play. You get your standout plays, you're always going to lose to the Power 4. You just are. They have too much money. Okay, you have to compete within your world. The MAC, UConn, other group of 6 schools. They hammered. Brought in a lot of Ivy League players. So you bring in a lot of players with experience that were standout in the Ivy League. I love that. You're basically recruiting New England in the portal. They're doing a good job in the high school, but again, flipping this roster over. For those that don't know, Joe Harris-Simiak, he's only 38 years old. He's still young with good experience.
Right.
He's been a coordinator at a Big Ten school. was up a couple Big Ten schools. He's been a head coach in New England at Maine. So it's a really good hire. So we just need to get behind him. And I'm not going to give any names out, but I know in social media when this article came out, there were some people, let's just say, associated with UMass academically that just made what I thought were some shitty comments on social media about the football program in the article. Guys, it goes back. Rising tide lifts all ships, okay? If the football program does good, I think that helps the university academically. If academically university does good, which it does, top 30 institution, it helps the athletic program and vice versa. If you're a professor in a school of journalism, kinesiology, whatever, sports management, if the athletic program, and again, football guys, it's the most popular sport in America, okay? It just is. Football drives the bus. It does.
It is. College football is number 2 behind the NFL, right? In terms of viewers and support and fan base. I mean, it is nuts. So you're right. We're going to get to a bowl. Things are going to change. The university, they're going to see it. They're going to see it. And they're going to realize, oh, okay. Like, you already have the example of what basketball did. And I get it 30 years ago. But like, just wait, because this is even bigger. And it's going to take a little bit of time. But you're right, and you got to get behind it, because if you're sitting there being negative and all this sucks, we're terrible, how is it going to get better? Like, how? You got to have the support. So I'm with
that's the problem, Mike. I think down deep, there's some people, okay, that are even associated with UMass
that don't want to see it do well. Yeah,
that want it to fail. I really believe that. And it's like it's almost like politics. I don't care what side you're on. It's become so almost like it's that team and this team, and I don't care if it's going to hurt. So basically, if you want UMass football to fail and you work at the University of Massachusetts, you're almost like cutting off your nose. Like, what are you doing?
I know.
Like, I would never say, I hope that academic department is the worst in the nation. Why would I say? I want UMass to be number 1 in everything. I support all the athletics. I love basketball. I want basketball to go back to the Final Four. I'd be their biggest supporter. I mean, we all need to support each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a kind of a take on the world we live in and UMass, right? It's like UMass is almost a microcosm of what we're living at in our country and our world. It's like, come on, guys, let's support each other. And here's the other thing too. Okay, while I'm on this topic, okay, maybe we don't like everybody that's coaching, that's in an administration, that's a professor, that's a dean. Maybe we don't like everybody, okay? All right, for whatever reason. But we can still support them.
Correct.
We can still support them and say, maybe I don't agree with the way you did or this decision you made, but guess what? Right. I'm UMass, and I'm going to support you.
Right.
And hopefully I'm wrong and you're right. Okay? Yeah. We got to get back to that. That's all. Okay? Simple.
Well said, man. Well said. Hey, we're gonna end it on that.
I do want to say Dan Wetzel was quoted in here. The great Dan Wetzel.
We're gonna get Dan on.
UMass alum and works for ESPN. Now I'm gonna call Dan. I'm actually gonna call Dan today and see if we can hook him up, and maybe, just maybe, we can get him on next week. I think he'd be a great guest.
That would be awesome. No, we'll definitely get him on at some point. So,
all right, brother. Hey, good talking to you, Mikey.
Have a great week. We'll see you next week on the Flagship Pod.
See ya.